What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about maining a character, specifically maining a class for the purposes of raiding or just doing everyday things if you're more casual. And what we really want to focus on here is just maining every aspect of your spec or your class, depending on how serious you want to be in this. And a lot of people make these mistakes when they first start playing the game, and this is for people who just start playing the game too. If you just start playing the game, I have some good examples to show you, good things that you can practice on, good things you can focus on, that'll hopefully make you a better player. A lot of people make a mistake where they get on to the game and they see a spec or they see a class that they really like, and they jump on and they're like, oh, I really like Arms Warrior. I want to play Arms Warrior. I am an Arms Warrior. That is my class. That's my specialization. But then they go look at sites or they go ask for help. Like, you might go to your personal Discord. So a lot of people, if you don't know, each class has its own like little Discord, little community that's focused around it. And you might go to your Discord and I go to my Affliction Discord and say, hey, you know, what's the best spec for me to play? What's the best class in the game right now? What's the best spec for me to play? They might tell you, or they might give you some helpful links, or they might send you to Icy Veins. If they send you to Icy Veins, and you might be sent there by friends, you might be sent there by people who just want to help you. And when you'll go there, you'll go to, you know, your class, and you'll go to your rotations, you'll go look at your builds and set up talents, and you'll look at your talents, and you'll see, well, there's just X's all over the place telling you, you know, maybe you shouldn't take this, but these other ones are pretty good. But what you want to understand is that things in World of Warcraft are ever changing. There's nothing in World of Warcraft that is ever, this is definite and this will never change ever. Because Blizzard is always trying to tune things. Blizzard's always trying to change things. That's why a lot of people who start off an expansion really strong playing that class or that spec, they know it's really good. And then something changes in maybe the rotation. Maybe a talent that was previously good gets changed and now it's worse. Maybe something that was previously bad gets changed and now it's better. And all of a sudden, their perfect rotation, their perfect setup, their ideals about the class have completely changed, and they're thrown off guard, and now they have to do recuperation time, which hurts the raid team, hurts everything that they were doing. Maybe they won't perform as good as they were before, and just in general, it's going to hurt you. So make sure that you overall, you follow what I'm about to say, and that you have a good idea of your class, your spec in general, and that in the future, hopefully when you're maining a character in BFA, you can thank me for it later. Alright, so let's start off really easy first, and let's just focus on the specs. So like spec-specific stuff. Usually when you're playing a spec, you're playing like Arms Warrior, you're playing Affliction Lock. Just for examples here on the video. When you're playing Affliction Lock, you have a set talent build for both AoE and PvE. PvE and PvP, sorry. PvE, single target, and PvE AoE have their own separate like builds. And you kind of have those predetermined for you and told, like, hey, you never take, you know, certain things like, you never take, Siphon Life unless you have your 4-piece. Things like that. Little small things like that you just know not to do. Specifically. And what you want to do is you want to, as you play the game, to understand how these talents work, understand how they play, understand how to use them in your rotation properly so that whenever something changes, you are already there and already fine. And what I suggest for this is just by one, swapping talents out. So on the video, you'll see that I've swapped a lot of talents out. You'll see I've swapped pretty much like everyone to the ones that aren't that important. But like overall, I would say just try swapping talents one by one, trying out the ones that you've never played before. Playing with, you know, Phantom Singularity in my case. Maybe I should just play with that by itself and throw that on targets and figure out how that works and figure out how much DPS it does and see if, you know, how this is pretty decent. If it actually had some good buffs to it, you know, maybe it'd be good. And you come to these conclusions later on after you swap between these specs and swap between these talents. And hopefully whenever a buff happens or a nerf happens, you're not as caught off guard because you understand how that talent works. A lot of people may not. A lot of people may just, you know, have their set build and they decide, well, I'm just never going to change it. But if you do this, if you're changing your talents and really trying to give it, you know, a 100% effort looking through these talents, you're gonna be way better off than anyone else will. Make sure you practice. Make sure that when you're, you have these talents, you're using them in every daily thing you're doing. Don't just switch your talents and then go to a dummy and hit the dummy for a while. That can help. Hitting the dummy can help, but it's not going to help you reflexively hit these abilities. What I mean by that is you might know the rotation for, Phantom Singularity, but like when something's happening or someone's trying to kill you, or something's trying to kill you, you're trying to chase something down and you don't have your speed rush anymore because you don't have that talent. You need to be used to what it's like to not have those things, what it's like to have the new talents, what it's like to not have the old ones. And the best way to do that is by going around doing your dailies, going around, doing reward bosses, going around doing 5-mans plus mythic pluses, and just hitting LFRs, things like that, will help you just better accumulate and acclimate to the situation that you're in. Finally, this is more serious, I guess, because if you're casual, you probably don't need to focus on, maining all of your specs. But even for a casual player, knowing how to play all your specs is just going to help you better in the long run. So if you want to listen to this, go ahead. What I highly suggest is that if you are someone who wants to play the game and take it very seriously, if you're looking to like push really hard, or if you're looking to just do well, if you want to just be that person in your like 5-man Mythic Plus team, your little group of friends who does really well, being more versatile and understanding your specs, all of your specs that are within your class, playing your class and not your spec, making sure that you're not defined as an affliction rogue or affliction warlock. You are a warlock. You play all of them. You want to make sure that you're swapping between these specs daily. I mean every day. Every day, no matter what. If you want to go do your dailies, you swap to your demo spec. If you want to go to your go do raiding the next day, you swap to your destruction spec. If you're trying to be really serious and you don't want to mess up or something, I understand that. Go play your affliction spec because you're very comfortable with that. It's your main spec. It's the one that you've been focusing on the most. It's the one you can do the most DPS and do that. That's fine. But make sure every opportunity you have, you're swapping to the other specs and really getting used to them. You want to make sure that all of your specs, for the most part, are really close in DPS together. And the only way you can do that is by swapping to each one and really just trying to understand them, spending the time or the day whenever you're on that spec to really research that spec, really go look it up on Icy Veins, go talk to people on Discord, go talk to other warlocks who may play that spec, and really get a really good idea about how to main that spec, how to play that spec, what's the best thing for me to do in these situations, and how to handle yourself in just about every situation that's thrown at you. And if you do these things, I promise, guys, I promise, you will have a better time in World of Warcraft. You will progress better in your raid team. You will do better overall as a player, and everyone will notice. People will notice that, hey, this guy is doing really good. No matter what boss we throw him on, he's just wrecking. It's because your specs are better suited for different bosses. One spec does not do good on every boss. And that's true for pretty much every class in the game. So being more versatile, being able to swap and do what you want to do is just going to overall help you, and make sure that you're putting that into practice, and I promise you'll succeed, guys. And I hope you have a wonderful day. It's been an awesome video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave it a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think about it, and hopefully if you like more of this stuff, I'll give you more of it. And I hope to see you guys soon. Have a good day. Peace.